Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I'm gonna try to go through all the stuff that I have as quick as possible because I only have 30 minutes. But if you guys can just let me know that you can hear me and see me and that we're okay, I'm gonna pop open the stream on my phone just to make sure that everything is working. How are you guys? Are you excited for the virtual AuthorTube retreat? I am super thrilled to be here. This is my first time presenting and I am super, super pumped. Okay, let me just make sure everything is working. Okay. Okay, I think we're okay. All right, so hi. Welcome to the romance writing workshop. Before I start, I just want to say a huge thank you to Keelan for organizing this amazing event and for having me on as a presenter. I am super excited to be here. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to hang out with you guys and chat about romance writing. Are there any other romance writers in the chat today? Put your hands up. Woohoo! Sorry about the glare there. What is happening? Let me see if we can fix this. Hope that helps, maybe. I don't want to get up because I'm actually wearing pajama pants, but from the top up, we're professional. So let's dive right in, right? Feel free to drop any questions in the comment box as we go along, and I will answer them at the end, if not throughout. But yeah, a super quick background on me. My name is Jessi Elliott. If you guys have not seen me before, I'm a romance author, obviously, primarily of paranormal romance. Let me see. I do have a slideshow, so we're going to try to get this up. Will it work? We will see. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Let me see if we can do this. It might just be like super, we're gonna try. Okay, how does one, it's not even letting me do that. Okay, share screen. Should have practiced this first. Your browser has blocked your screen. All right, cool. Share the screen. We're gonna try again. Hey, I think it worked. Maybe. Let's try it. I don't know. Let's see if it works. Present. Sorry, guys. A little technical difficulty right in the morning, which we love. Okay. Oh, Amy's saying smash that like button. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going because I cannot get this presentation to work. So that's fun. I don't think, because I can't share my screen the way I want to. So cool. Open. Well, darn, I had a cute slideshow. Unless I can do it. Yeah, no. Okay, we're just gonna keep going because I can't figure out how to share my screen with Canva, so that's fun. Present. It did it for 1 second. Okay, great. Let me just see if I do this. Entire screen, potentially. Allow. Fun. Okay. Hey! Oh, did we figure this out? Maybe. Present. Let me just give it a second, and if it doesn't work, I'm just going to continue. I'm just going to wait and see. Let me know if this works. Yeah, Brittany, I'm using StreamYard, so that's fun. Okay. All right. I'm so sorry. Never gonna happen again. We'll see. So yeah, these are my books. So I write primarily paranormal romance, perfect for fans of Jennifer L. Armentrout and Laura Thalassa. The books below the Twisted series, they're both paranormal romance, but the books below are more vampires, whereas Twisted is fae. And I co-wrote the bottom ones with my lovely writing friend Kelsey. I have been writing for over a decade and have been publishing since 2018. When I'm not writing books, I love helping other writers find success with their stories through coaching, editing services, and writing retreats. I'm going to dive right into the content because I only have 30 minutes and this took forever for me to figure out. So let's just keep going. Listen, romance is one of the most popular genres of fiction. No matter how much people like to crap on it, and they do, romance sells. In fact, it's one of the highest selling genres on Amazon, and many of the best-selling books are published by indie authors, which is great if you want to self-publish. So if you guys are wanting to self-publish, let me know in the comments. Now we're going to talk a little bit about subgenres. There are dozens of subgenres you can write in. These are only a small handful of some of the most popular right now. Of course, this changes over time, just like any genre, and tropes come and go, as do subgenres and genres in terms of popularity. On a bit of a side note, if you're interested in writing to market, which is a method that some authors use to build a career in writing, it's a good idea to keep your eye on that bestseller list and the pages on Amazon that show you what is selling. Before I go on to story beats, I'm just going to go ahead right now and throw in my secret word. So grab a pen or that amazing worksheet that Keelan gave you guys to download off the website and get ready for my secret word. Are you ready? Okay, my secret word is Central Perk. And if you know me, this will come as no surprise. Central Perk. It's the coffee shop from Friends. Anyways, moving on. We're going to talk a little bit about story beats. So romance stories will still have the structural aspects of any story. So if you're looking to outline romance using a beat sheet, that's still a great idea if that works for you. Author Gwen Hayes has a really great book that kind of shows you how to use the beats specifically for romance. She breaks down the story beats specifically for the romance genre. If you're writing in a typical 3-act structure, there are 4 phases. So you have the setup, falling in love, retreating from love, and fighting for love. And within these phases, you'll have your beats. You'll have the intro to your main character, your meet cute, the midpoint, Dark Night of the Soul. All the beats you're used to seeing from Save the Cat apply to romance. You don't need Gwen's book if you're writing romance, but I do recommend it if you're interested in seeing how she breaks down the story beats specifically for the romance genre. And if you're looking for another writing resource, I would recommend picking up this book, which is called Write Naked by Jennifer Probst. She is incredible. She's a pro in the industry, and she has some incredible insight. Speaking about naked, let's talk about sex. Odds are, if you're writing romance, you're writing sex. Of course, this isn't the case for every story, but I have to touch on it. Sex is different for everyone, and that is going to include your characters. Maybe you have one character who likes to keep it vanilla, like simple missionary and we're done. However, some characters enjoy some kink, some interesting foreplay, perhaps some over-the-top role play to get them in the mood. Whatever it is, just have fun with it. My favorite part of writing any romance has always been the build up to the characters getting together. The will they, won't they, dance that they play, the banter and the sexual tension. Ugh, I live for that shit. So just like any of the different subgenres, just like there are different subgenres under the romance umbrella, there are different heat levels as well. So, sweet is kind of oftentimes found in YA romances. So, the more contemporary, it's your kind of fade to black romance scenes. Sometimes they just kiss and there's nothing doesn't go any further. Um, and it doesn't really explicitly detail the characters having sex, but if it's happened, the writer is able to let the reader know it without, going into detail. And that's the same with clean romance. You still get the build up but the descriptions that you're going to be reading are far tamer. I'm just going to take a quick second and oh, perfect. Keelan put the secret word in the chat, so if you guys need it, write it down really quick. Yes. Okay, cool. Sexy is turning up the fire just a little bit. It means you're going to be describing what the characters are doing to each other and how they're responding. So most of my books would fit into this category because there's definitely some detail, but it's not 50 Shades like kind of crude language. It's, I don't know, give it a read and you'll find out. But the next step into the fire would be erotic. And there is a difference between erotica and romance. So the biggest difference is plot, basically. With erotica, the sex is the most integral part to the story. Whereas with romance, there is a solid plot, there's character arcs, and there's sex woven in between that help bring the characters together emotionally and physically, obviously. But that's the biggest difference, is with erotica, sex is the biggest thing. And with romance, it's kind of just like, a subplot that helps bring everything together and move everything along and helps develop your characters and sometimes, introduce new characters. Dark romance is like a whole other ball game. It's something that I've kind of just started dipping my toe into because some of it I really enjoy, and then others I feel like I need like 5 showers and probably communion. Also, if I was Catholic, like what do they call it? Confession, because holy crap, you guys, it can get really messed up. But I mean, if you're the type of person who can separate fiction from reality, I know dark romance kind of plays with a lot of problematic subject matter, like just in terms of the romance aspect. I know a lot of people wouldn't even consider dark romance real romance. Because I mean, it's can be wildly entertaining for sure, but it is not for the faint of heart. Most, if not all, I'm gonna go back and say most dark romances do have some sort of warning at the beginning, whether it be, hey, if we're related, please don't read this book, or just kind of specifically letting you know what kind of subject matter is you're going to be reading, because it is intense and definitely might not be something that you're used to reading. Because they deal with a lot of mature and sometimes taboo subject matter, and it's definitely not for everyone. Like I said, there have been some that I have really enjoyed, and then others that I just couldn't get into because it was a little too far for me personally. And everybody has different comfort levels, and that's going to apply even when you're writing and deciding how steamy or how hot you want to write your romance in terms of the story, and in particular the sex scenes, if you're going to include them. Let's see if we have any questions. Sage says, I write sweet romance. I can't write spicy scenes. Yeah, the first sex scene I ever wrote took me 2 hours, and it was not that long. I just felt so uncomfortable writing it. I was sitting in my living room when I was away at college and my roommates were around and I was just like, oh my God, they have to know what I'm doing. Like, of course, they can't see my computer, but they just know that I am writing the dirty. And it took me a while, but the more that I've written it into my stories, the more comfortable I've gotten with it and the more kind of, creative, because I don't know, people like different things. So, but yeah, to start off, it was interesting. I was like, fine, you know what? Maybe this is just isn't for me. I'm gonna just write either like clean romance or just kind of stick to the YA side of romance. But I'm really glad that I didn't. I mean, I love writing YA romance. The project that I'm working on right now is a YA romance, and I am enjoying the fact that I don't have to worry about crafting those sex scenes. That, I mean, sometimes it can be very mechanical, but then you have to go back and like weave in like the niceties and like making it different than just, oh, they go to bed and have sex. How about they have sex somewhere else for once or do it differently and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice just to be able to focus more on the plot and like the emotional angst and all that than having to worry about like, oh, there's a sex scene coming up. I have to prepare. But it's a lot of fun. Um, RP Winters says, confession, I don't write romance, but I for sure should go to confession. Um, Novelist Allie says, my romances are all sweet contemporary. I can't even imagine myself writing anything steamier. Maybe a little bit, but not much. I mean, you like what you like, and that's totally fine. But I would encourage you to try to write something different. And if it doesn't work, you don't have to use it. But it is a great exercise in writing if you're thinking about, writing a different type of romance someday. I'm just going through the comments to make sure I haven't missed anything. I also went through this a lot faster than I was going to. So I am just trying to make sure that I'm not, I'm pretty much near the end. So I do want to give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions. Zara says, I write from sweet to sexy across my different books. That's fun too. I do the same thing. So this is very interesting. The different levels. I need to write shipping fodder for a human princess and a troll in my work in progress. And to be honest, there could be a lot to play with when writing sex scenes. Absolutely. Have fun with that. That sounds awesome. Ava Wright says, I tried romance and it became a thriller. Okay, so I mean, you could, if you still wanted to get the romance into that, you could make it like a romantic suspense if you wanted to kick up the steam level a bit. Um, but I mean, if thriller is really where you thrive, then just play into that. That's awesome. I think, let me see. Yeah. Let me know if you guys have any other questions about any of the stuff that I've gone over today. Any questions about the books that I've recommended. The Gwen Hayes one, let me just go back to this slide where we talk about it. So this one, as far as I know, you can still get this download on her website. Let me just take a drink of water. I've been talking too much. So when I bought this book, and I'm pretty sure it's still on her website, you'll have to check it out. She has a Scrivener template that you can download. And if you use Scrivener, which is the word processing software, it breaks down all the beats and kind of like organizes your Scrivener document. It's really cool. I've used it kind of to start the process for a couple of my books, but yeah, and it's really small. So think of like the size of the Save the Cat book. It's really small. I don't know where I have it, but it's a little bit longer than a pamphlet, but it's very to the point, goes through everything step by step, and it's really great. It's very basic. So if you're like a pro, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you're just like maybe getting into romance or you want to try it, then I think it's a good idea. And then this one, The thing I love most about Right Naked is not only is there all of Jennifer's insight, and like I said, she's a freaking pro in the industry, but she also has a lot of other successful romance authors give advice throughout the book, which is really cool, especially when you see names that you're familiar with. If you're a fan of romance books right now, it's really cool to see like some of your favorite authors give advice as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking those out if you're interested in kind of learning more about the genre. And this one also goes into selling and networking and stuff like that. So that's really cool too. Um, Hi, Holly. Holly says, do you think slow burn is effective? Absolutely. I have like a mild love-hate relationship with slow burn because, like I said, my favorite part of the romance is the build-up. Kind of once they get to that point where it's like, okay, they're finally like surrendering to their feelings for each other. It's a different kind of excitement, but all that build-up is kind of changed into something else. But I think slow burn is effective in that it really gives you an opportunity to explore the relationship between the two, allow them to grow closer, and show the reader why they're attracted to each other. It's not like, oh my God, he's so hot, I think I'm in love. It's these are the reasons and they make sense. Like, oh, he's a kind person. He saves kittens from burning buildings. Stuff like that. You really have the opportunity to show the reader why the two characters are good for each other or why they're bad for each other. Because, I mean, sometimes that works in your favor too. The enemies to lovers, am I right? Any enemies to lovers fans out there? Because, yeah, I love it. So yes, absolutely. If it like for me, there's a very fine line because if it takes 3 books for them to kiss, not about that. If it takes like the majority of the first book, that's something I can get on board with. If there's like near touches or almost kisses, like they're about to like make out and then they get interrupted. Yeah, as long as the buildup is there and you're showing the reader that that's the direction you're going, yes, absolutely. Yes, we have some enemies to lovers fans. Perfect. Great. So, yes, we're getting to the end. I've talked your ear off. I have less than 10 minutes left. So, drop those questions in the comment box and I'm going to go through them right now. Let's see what else we got. Shan Curdy asks, can you use more than one trope in romance? Example, like hate to love in the first half of the book and then friends to lovers. So for the first part of your question, yes. Absolutely. There's no rule, at least that I've read, that says you need to stick to one trope. However, I don't think for your specific example that like because you're going from hate to love, so there's obviously a reason they hate each other. I would think maybe you could go from enemies to friends to lovers, but I don't think it would go from like enemies to lovers to friends to lovers. Um, but I could see like a natural progression if you wanted to make them friends before lovers. But there is the reason the trope is so popular is because the whole like wanting the thing you shouldn't is super hot in terms of romance in fiction. So I think the idea of skipping the friends thing, because I think friends and lovers, for the most part, no, I'm going to retract that. I was going to say go simultaneously, but that's not true. I think at some point, if you're writing romance, you need the happily ever after, or at least the happy for now, or it's not romance. That is a hill that most romance authors will die on. Because if you get to the end of a romance, and either the main character or the love interest die and the other one's just really sad, that's not romance. Just saying. It has to end in happily ever after or happy for now. So hopefully that answered your question in like a super whirly roundabout way, but yes, you can use more than one trope for sure. You can have enemies to lovers and also, you know, reverse harem. That's more of a subgenre than a trope, but like you could have enemies to lovers and throw in a love triangle. And what are some other tropes? Like you could have the chosen one in there too. Yes, absolutely. Like trope mash all you want. Um, yes, everybody loves enemies to lovers. Uh, Raylan wants to know around which age was I when I wrote my first sex scene. It was second year college, so I was either 18 or 19. But I was reading romance a lot sooner than that. So, and that's kind of like, I don't know. Everybody's different, right? And so that's when I started. Um, Ava says, "What trope do you love that you haven't written yet?" Um, hmm. I think I don't know. That's a good question because I've done enemies to lovers sort of. I would love to write it more like very clear enemies because I've done like the blurred lines like are they really enemies? But I want to like do a clear enemies to lovers. I don't know. I've thought like maybe second chance romance, not in like some of the like descriptions of second chance romance that I read, I'm just like, that sounds very boring. Like if it didn't work out the first time, why is it gonna work out now? It's not. But I think it could be very interesting, especially for dark romance. I think there's a lot to play with there. So I would say like second chance romance. The friends to lovers thing for me, it just it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's nice, but I don't know. It's just not my vibe. Hudson would like to know any tips for writing a romance subplot. Yes, I mean, for me, in some ways, like it needs to tie into the main plot, and that's kind of the most important thing. Is that it can't just be happening off to the side. Like as much as you can, pull it into the story, weave it throughout, if your love interest can, I don't know, like pose a bit of conflict for your main character, that's always interesting. They don't have to be the antagonist. I know as much as I love enemies to lovers, it doesn't have to be that every time. They can be the nice boy next door, but you just really want to make sure that it's not just happening to have romance. Like it has to tie into your main plot in some way that is significant and helps move the story along and add something to the story. Because if not, it doesn't really need to be there, you know? Um, oh, I only have 2 minutes. Okay, I gotta go through this really quick. I just edited my first romance piece a couple weeks back and knew the HEA and the HFN thing, and I think it saved the piece from being a love story and not a romance. You taught me that a year ago. Oh, that's awesome. Sage says, my current work in progress is a second chance romance. They broke up in high school because his family moved away. Oh, I can see that being really cute. Okay. I think that's it. So I just want to again thank Keelan for having me be part of the AuthorTube virtual retreats. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me this morning. I don't usually wake up early on Saturdays because I wake up early every other day of the week. But you know, it was worth it. This was a lot of fun. I'd love to connect with you guys on social, so feel free to give me a follow and shoot me a DM if you want to chat. If I didn't answer any questions that you guys might have, feel free to send them to me and I'll answer them. But yes, what was I going to say? I also have a tier on Patreon, especially for writers. So if you're looking for writing sprints, accountability, and free resources, feel free to check that out. All my information, including all my books and all my social stuff, is down below, along with all of the links for the AuthorTube virtual retreat for the next streams throughout the day, the website. Be sure to check the website, always the website. Yeah, so check it out. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend and enjoy the rest of the retreat. I'm super excited to check out some of the other streams and the sprints and maybe hop on some of them. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. And I really, really appreciate your time today. Good luck. Go write all the romance and have fun this weekend. Bye.